Get started with our triptych. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a piece of paper. We're going to have it in landscape orientation. Now remember, this is portrait orientation and this is landscape orientation. And we're going to fold our piece of paper into 3 equal sections. And one of the easiest ways to do so is to take your paper and you're going to like roll it up like you're making a telescope. However, you're going to make sure that the corner of the paper that's on top and the corner of the section that's at the bottom are about the same size. And this will make sure that your bottom area or that paper at the bottom is the same. Now, trying to keep your edges lined up, you're going to press and fold them. It is easier if you lay it on a flat surface and press. And then once you have your paper folded, when you open it up, you have your 3 equal sections. So we have our 3 sections, and now we're going to go ahead and start our line markings for our triptych. So the first thing we're going to do is in each section, we're going to make varying sizes of vertical dashes. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you can have 5 to 10 marks on your paper for each section. Now we're going to make our horizontal lines. And remember, these don't have to be completely straight. I wanted to try and make sure that you go through each of the vertical lines at least once. And so now what we're going to do is you're going to take your ruler. Since I'm drawing with this propped up and taped on a board, it's going to be hard for me to trace this without a ruler. If you're on a flat surface, it is going to be easier. But I'm going to go into the folds of my sections, and I am going to darken that fold. And I'm actually going to make the line thicker than my vertical lines, because I want to be able to make sure I have 3 separate areas. I'm using my fingers to guide and make sure that I'm in the fold. Now, if you don't have a ruler, you can use a book or maybe even a paint stick, something with a straight edge to make sure that you create these borders. So in this first section, I'm going to color in these little squares or these little shapes. I want to go in and make sure that cuts that one off. Warm colors. Now this area down at the bottom will remain white for all 3 sections. So I'm going to color in my squares using warm colors. Remember, your warm colors are colors that have red, orange, and yellow. So before I got started with coloring, I realized that in some of my sections I didn't have enough squares, like in this upper area. So I went back in with my marker and lengthened the lines because I didn't want any area that was predominantly one color. So I've gone in and I've colored this section with only warm colors. As I was coloring, I didn't like this area being too open. So I'm just going to go in and add a few more vertical lines just to break this up, and maybe even add a couple of horizontal little dashes. And I'll do the same for my next sections. Now if you want to, I'm going to go ahead and quickly do this. It's going to break this up a little bit. You could draw a diagonal line going through part of the section, which I didn't do for this side, so it is going to change up my design a bit. For in this middle section, if you don't have a multitude of colors or a varying choice of colors in markers, this next section is going to be a little hard for you. However, if you have multiple packs of markers, it is not going to be that bad. For this section, you're going to use monotoned colors. So what that means is you're going to pick one color and you're going to use varying shades and tints of that color, and you are going to fill in that section. And it doesn't matter what color you pick. This is your choice for the monotone section. So I've gone in with varying shades of teal to create my monochromatic section. Now it is okay to leave a couple of areas white. It just adds a little bit of contrast within your artwork. And so now in this third section, I'm going to use my cool colors. Now remember, your cool colors are colors that have green, purple, and blue in them. So now I filled in this section with cool colors. So I'm going to go in and add another little couple of vertical and diagonal lines to kind of create some space. For small areas like that, though, I won't fill in. I'm going to, hopefully, I have some other colors, but I'm going to try and go in and darken in some of the areas that I have cut there. Now, if you have coloring pencils, it's easier to create darker areas. You can go over it with some of the other shades or go in darker in areas. For markers, it's a little different. So I've gone in, I've added a diagonal line on this section, and I have darkened the areas where the line cut through it. So you're going to take a picture of this and place it on slide 9.